Up next on Utah Business Matters, we introduce you to Lee Richin and his video deposition company of AVLawDepot. And welcome to this edition of Utah Business Matters, your weekly television window to small business here in the state of Utah. We come to you this week from BYU, outside the J. Reuben Clark Law School. This is where Lee Richin got his start, a love of law that he has turned now into his own small business, AVLawDepot, ensuring justice for all.
I was asked to be a court judge here at BYU, as a matter of fact, many moons ago. And I got a good feel for the law. I had a fairly good understanding of what's involved in conducting law properly, and a lot of it has to do with the written rules. I knew a lot about movie making, cinematography, and obviously as that changed over the years, things like reciprocity failure and pushing film and heck, even Kodachrome began to fall out of favor and was replaced by video, and I stepped into that void nicely. And the fatal flaw in the way that others were doing it was that they were stopping the camera and then bringing it back to their secret laboratory where they worked on the tape for a week or something, and the courts had really no way to ascertain that something important wasn't removed. In fact, that's really the fatal flaw with the transcript production method as well. So what I realized was that with my instant production on-site abilities, what I could do is not only swear the oath as a notary, I could make this recording button on, button off, but I could also produce it. It could be fully rendered, fully authored, chaptered, time codes entered, all of the legalities adhered to. And when that is produced on site, it has any number of copies, originals, that are produced for as many attorneys as want them. I can't tell you how many people said it can't be done. You can't produce concurrently a fully authored, fully transcoded DVD on the spot without rendering. It can't be done. I said, okay, I'll do it. I had to develop something that wasn't ever developed before. And in fact, some of the very first few depositions that we did, opposing counsel took one look at it and they said, what is this? It's like a spaceship landed. In the past, you got let's say a transcript, and that was it. And you had to trust that the transcript was accurate. You couldn't actually press play or replay on any of this to verify whether or not that word was the word. Basically, we swear the oath of truthfulness and press the on button and the off button at the end of the thing. It may go 2 hours or 10 hours. And at the end of that, out pops the number of DVDs required for all parties. And we issue a certification notarized on the spot that says that we have witnessed this and we've kept custody of the exhibits and everything's hunky-dory, Your Honor. So we give it to all parties so that there can't be any quibbling over whether or not it was edited. Bottom line is when we actually take this record, when we certify it, when it's never left our fingertips, we don't even take a lunch. We sit there, you know, while everybody else is out, we sit there with our record and make sure that we can swear in a court of law that it's never left our fingertips. That now becomes admissible on its face. The American Bar has, once they caught wind of us about 2 years ago, they said, hurry up and expand this thing. We need this kind of apples to apples evidence productions. Any kind of media recording that currently goes on, including a 2-year-old who picks up her mother's iPhone and records a beating, you know, or something that, is it admissible by any kind of certification? No, but it's admissible on the face of it, which is it is probably unaltered by a 2-year-old. One of the very first things that I ever saw in a deposition was a snowplow driver who was hired to plow an entire lot, like a Target lot, for example, big, huge parking lot. And so he worked his bunnies off and went out there and scraped up that snow. In a moment of relaxation, he just piled up that snow in a corner, and it happened to be a handicap stall. We forgot about it, and the next day it warmed up, and then it froze again that night so that it was all black ice. Well, this elderly lady got out the next day and parked in the handicap stall, and parts and pieces went everywhere. Now, if you were that lady and you really had to depend on that medical bill to be there, and you were suing the insurance company or whatever, the transcript that was produced as a result of that deposition read, question, were you working that day? Answer, yes. Question, were you drunk? Answer, no. The video, on the other hand, shows, question, were you drunk? And then the 30 or 40 seconds that ensued, where the guy turned the color red and his eyes got real big and he looked left and right and the sweat came out on his forehead and so forth, those 30 or 40 seconds pretty well tell a story that's not reflected in the transcript. The attorneys would like to see some sort of empirical evidence that they can actually latch onto and press play and say, listen, your witness said X and Y and Z, and that's exactly what we're trying to prove. Let's come to terms on settlements or what have you. And Judge Friendly is more than happy to have that go away. Many years ago when I took law school classes, a professor took out an apple and he put it on the table and he said, you, prove this is an apple. You, prove it's not. The idea of straight and true and efficient evidence production is really at the heart of this whole thing. And that's why the single finger logo is something we conscripted, because we press the on button, we press the off button. And there's no mystery between those 2 points. The federal laws, if you want to consider them the umbrella laws, they pretty well set the pattern as far as electronic recording has developed. And then state laws tend to echo that. And ditto 35 other states echo exactly what the federal laws are. So automatically we're open for business in 35 states. I've had the pleasure of looking across the table at someone who's distraught about the fact that she couldn't pay for her legal bills. And I turned to an attorney in a private moment and I said, do you mind if I donate all my deposition services? We're the only services company that's listed on the probono.net website of the American Bar Association. The Inc. 500 listing was in 2009. That was something I was pretty proud of. 2011 and 2012, I was awarded Top Entrepreneur in Utah from 2 different entities. It's just a little attaboy, but in the meantime, I know this technology and this system and this process is, bar none, the best thing out there. What I'd like to do is to get people to understand that these types of services are out there. And just like the medicine companies of yesteryear, ask your doctor, ask your legal professional if a video deposition wouldn't help your case. And so if they're paying 1/3 the price of the normal services out there, and they're getting 3 times the video, the audio, and the transcript out of this, and they can depend that there's not going to be some slinky guy that comes in the room with a black tie and a mustache. And, if they can depend on that work product being uniform and dependable each and every time, and then they'll never have to risk their case, that's a big plus. That's pulling us forward.
Lee Richin and AVLawDepot gives back 10% of what they do at no charge.